Hello everyone, this is your friend Naruto Fix, and we are back with another epic What If Naruto fanfic. Which is, what if Naruto mastered all 5 chakra natures early? PART-1. If you love Naruto fanfics, then don't forget to like, subscribe, and join the journey with me. So, let's start the fanfic. The world was not prepared for a Naruto Uzumaki who wasn't just the unpredictable knucklehead ninja, but a prodigy forged by the raw potential of the 9 tails, and something more. This time, Naruto's story began not in chaos but in brilliance. The spark of change. At just 6 years old, Naruto stumbled upon something extraordinary. Late one night, sneaking into the Hokage library for a prank, Naruto discovered a charred scroll tucked behind the forbidden section. Curiosity overcame caution. The scroll, titled, The Nature of Chakra, a shinobi's 5 paths, wasn't sealed, it was forgotten. That night, everything changed. The scroll described the fundamentals of all 5 chakra natures, fire, wind, lightning, earth, and water, and how rare it was for even one shinobi to master all 5, let alone learn them as a child. But the 9 tails inside Naruto rumbled with restless power, and with a single pulse of ancient chakra, the seal weakened just enough to let Naruto feel all 5 natures at once. The first lesson. Naruto's first accidental use happened the next day. Iruka-sensei was lecturing as always, trying to keep the bored, hyperactive Naruto from passing notes or falling asleep. When another student mocked Naruto's parents, the anger bubbled up, familiar, but now, something more. Wind chakra burst from Naruto's body, sending desks flying. The class went silent. Iruka stood stunned. No academy student should be able to manifest elemental chakra. That was Jonin-level training. But Naruto hadn't just manifested wind. His chakra was shifting. Lightning crackled at his fingertips, earth hardened beneath his feet, water condensed in his palm, and fire warmed the air around him. 5 natures, 1 child. The moment shook the academy, and Konoha. The secret mentor. Naruto was whisked before the Hokage himself. Hiruzen didn't scold him. He observed, eyes narrowed with a mixture of awe and fear. This level of mastery, Hiruzen whispered. Even the first Hokage never displayed such potential at this age. He summoned someone, an elite shinobi who rarely appeared publicly. Kakashi Hatake. Train him, Hiruzen ordered. But do it in secret. If word gets out, enemies will move faster than we can protect him. And so began Naruto's hidden evolution. The first training session. Kakashi's single Sharingan eye fixed on Naruto as they stood in the secluded training field. You're not like other kids, Kakashi said, voice calm. Most people spend years training to sense a single nature. You have access to all 5. But power without control is useless. Worse, it's dangerous. Quote. Naruto nodded, serious for once. So you're gonna help me master it? Kakashi smirked beneath his mask. Try not to explode first, okay? The training was intense. Wind chakra sharpened Naruto's senses, allowing him to cut through boulders. Lightning gave him speed and reflex beyond his years. Earth made his body unbreakable, skin like hardened stone. Fire ignited passion and fury, powering jutsu even elite Chunin struggled with. Water flowed through him, reshaping, adapting, balancing the others. Day after day, Naruto chased control, failing, falling, bleeding, but never stopping. And when he finally generated a stable elemental clone, a clone using mixed fire and wind chakra, Kakashi nearly dropped his book. Naruto Uzumaki wasn't just talented. He was unstoppable. A rising storm. Rumors began to spread, whispers of a child who could crush stone and summon lightning. The council wanted to take control. Danzo, in particular, saw opportunity, a potential weapon beyond Root's wildest experiments. Meanwhile, other nations were watching. The land of lightning sent spies. The sand prepared alternatives to Gaara. Even the mist considered early alliances. Naruto had become more than a Jinchuriki. He was a superweapon in human form. And soon, he'd be sent on his first real mission. A mission that would shake the world. The first mission, Winds of Blood. The Hokage knew Naruto was extraordinary, but that also meant he was a beacon for danger. After months of training under Kakashi, Naruto was finally allowed to leave the village, not as a student, not even as a genin, but as a secret operative under direct Hokage supervision. His first mission: escort a diplomatic convoy to the land of frost. Simple on paper, but nothing ever stayed simple where Naruto was involved. Team composition: Naruto, Kakashi, and a retired Anbu tracker, Yugao Azuki, recalled due to rumors that an S-rank rogue ninja was prowling froze T's borders. Naruto was excited. No more boring classrooms. No more lonely stares or whispers. This was the real world, a place where his power mattered. "This isn't a game," Kakashi said, sharp tone beneath the mask. "If your chakra slips even once, people die." Naruto nodded but couldn't hide the burning confidence in his eyes. "I won't fail. Not this time. The ambush. By the fourth day of travel, the air shifted suddenly, chakra disturbance, even Naruto could feel it. Shadows danced within shadows. The trees fell silent. Yugao raised 2 fingers, the sign for prepare, quietly, without alerting civilians. And then, boom, an explosion of fire chakra burst from the tree line. Panic ensued as shuriken flew from the smoke. Civilians screamed. 2 guards fell before they understood what hit them. Kakashi reacted first, earth wall. But the attack didn't stop. Lightning sliced through the wall like paper. Naruto's instincts roared. Wind style, air shield. A spiraling barrier of compressed wind burst from Naruto, covering the line of civilians and diverting the shrapnel harmlessly. Kakashi's visible eye widened. He did it, during combat. But before relief could settle, a figure emerged from the smoke. A rogue ninja, hood torn, mask cracked, eyes glowing red with murder, and something else. "Naruto Uzumaki," the rogue said, smirking. "They said you'd be here. I thought it was a rumor. But, you're real." Naruto froze. He didn't recognize the enemy, but the enemy knew him. Kakashi stepped forward. "Stay behind me." Naruto ignored him. "Who are you?" Naruto growled, chakra flaring. "The one who'll show you what happens when a monster tries to play hero." He unleashed lava release, a deadly fusion chakra nature. Naruto's blood ran cold. That was a Kekkei Genkai. But he didn't back down. His chakra surged, 5 colors flickering around him at once. "No," Kakashi whispered. "Not now, don't break balance." The rogue laughed. "So the stories were true. The boy carries all natures. Let's test your limits." The forest exploded with heat and molten rock. Naruto's awakening, elemental drive. Naruto didn't dodge this time. He attacked. Fire roared from his fists, meeting the rogue's lava with pure heat. The clash sent shockwaves through the trees, melting snow and twisting the earth. Then Naruto shifted to lightning, zigzagging around the rogue at blinding speed. A kick, powered by wind, sent the man crashing into a boulder. But it wasn't enough. The rogue grinned, his armor almost melted, but he was still standing. "You're strong, but unrefined. Your chakra's wild. You lack killer instinct." Naruto didn't flinch. "Maybe I do, but I'm not alone." With a roar, Naruto combined fire and wind chakra into a blazing vortex, Inferno Gale. A technique even Kakashi had never taught. The blast erupted, engulfing the rogue entirely. For a moment, everything was silent. Steam filled the clearing. Kakashi and Yugao stared, stunned. And then, through the haze, a single charred hand rose, gripping the earth. The rogue staggered forward, bleeding, burning, but alive. "You reminded me of him," the rogue rasped, falling to one knee. "Him?" Naruto asked, confused. "The man who cursed me with power, and then abandoned me. The one they said had your eyes. Your spirit." Naruto's heart pounded. "Who?" The rogue collapsed. But before his last breath faded, he whispered one word that made Naruto's world stop. "Minato. A seed of truth." The convoy made it safely to Frost. The mission was officially a success. But Naruto, he was no longer the same. That name haunted him. Minato. The man connected to his power. The man tied to his past. The man they never spoke about. Naruto turned to Kakashi in the moonlight, for the first time truly afraid of the truth. Sensei, who was Minato? Kakashi's mask hid his expression, but not the tremor in his voice. That's a story the village never wanted you to hear. Naruto clenched his fists. Then I'll learn it myself. Naruto didn't sleep that night. While the convoy rested safely in Frost's capital, Naruto slipped away from the inn, his breath visible in the cold night air. The full moon cast long shadows over the snowy rooftops as he climbed to the highest point and stared up at the stars. Minato. Why did that rogue ninja know his name? Why did Kakashi freeze when he heard it? Why did the village hide it? Naruto's heart was a battlefield, rage and confusion clashing with unanswered pain. Was Minato connected to my power? To my past? To the Nine Tails? Before Naruto could reach any answers, he felt a presence behind him. Kakashi, you're not the only one who can sneak out at night, Kakashi said softly. Naruto didn't turn. Am I just a weapon? Is that why you're training me? Kakashi stood beside him, gazing at the moon. You're not a weapon, but you're not ordinary, either. Then tell me, Naruto snapped. Who is Minato? Why did he know me? Why do you know that name? Kakashi exhaled heavily, one of the few times he looked older than he was. Minato Namikaze was my sensei. He was the fourth Hokage. Naruto went stiff, and he was the one who sealed the Nine Tails inside you. Naruto's heart stopped. Before he could speak, Kakashi placed a hand on his shoulder, gentle, not controlling. He was the same man who died saving this village. The man who believed you would be the hope of the world. He was your father. Naruto's world shattered. His hands trembled. His breath caught. His voice cracked. My father. Kakashi nodded slowly. Minato believed you would do what even he couldn't. He gave you his legacy, his chakra, even a seal that reacts to your mastery of elemental power. Naruto clenched his fists, tears dripping silently onto the frost-covered roof. My father was the Hokage, and nobody told me. Kakashi began, but Naruto cut him off. They hated me, all those years, but I was his son. Kakashi's hand tightened. Minato protected you from that truth because enemies would have hunted you from the day you were born. Quote, Naruto turned to face him, eyes raw with hurt. But I wasn't protected. I was alone. Kakashi's heart ached. He pulled down his mask just a little, enough for Naruto to see the emotion in his face. You're not alone anymore, but the words felt hollow. Naruto already knew the truth. He was a prodigy with forbidden power, a tool to be hidden. The son of a hero who died, and left him in the shadows. He needed answers, power, identity, and he would do anything to get them. The Forbidden Temple. On the return journey to Konoha, Naruto was silent, focused. He didn't joke, didn't yell, didn't act out. Kakashi and Yugao exchanged glances. They both felt it. Something had changed. 2 days away from the village, they reached the Valley of the End, the resting place of Hashirama and Madara. A place of history, legend, and loss. Naruto stopped walking. Sensei, I can feel something here. Kakashi's expression sharpened. What do you mean? Naruto's palm glowed, a reaction from the chakra seal left by Minato. Kakashi's eyes widened. Only someone with awakened sealing potential, or someone with the Fourth's bloodline, could activate that. Without warning, the water between the statues rippled, chakra rising from beneath the surface. A hidden structure emerged, sleek stone engraved with the Uzumaki spiral. The Temple of the Sages, Kakashi whispered. I thought it was just a myth. Naruto didn't hesitate. He stepped forward, and the temple responded, its doors parting, lit by a soft red glow. Yugao drew her sword. Naruto, this place wasn't meant to be opened. Naruto glanced back, eyes burning with elemental energy. Maybe not by just anyone. But I'm not just anyone. He walked inside. The Legacy Hall. The interior was ancient yet alive, seals pulsing, chakra threads lining the walls, statues of the Uzumaki clan standing like guardians in silent judgment. Naruto stopped at the center, drawn to a stone tablet. At its base sat a worn, sealed scroll with a symbol he instantly recognized. A spiral, surrounded by flame. His heartbeat thundered. He reached out. As soon as his fingers touched the scroll, a voice echoed through the hall, soft, deep, and full of pride. Greater than, if you are hearing this, it means my son has awakened. Naruto froze. The voice continued. Greater than, you were never meant to carry the burden of the 9 tails alone. You were meant to carry my dream, our family's dream. Quote, Naruto's eyes filled with tears. Greater than, Naruto, I'm sorry. More than you'll ever know. The scroll glowed, chakra unlocking. A golden light poured from the seal, and the full image of Minato appeared, an afterimage left behind through a powerful sealing technique. Naruto fell to his knees, choking on a sob. Dad. Minato's image smiled warmly. Greater than, you've grown strong. Stronger than I ever hoped. But power without purpose is empty. The vision raised its hand, chakra flowing into Naruto's body. Greater than, take this. The final key to mastering your true potential. Naruto's body shook violently, electricity crackling in his veins, fire warming his core, earth hardening his bones. He had inherited something beyond chakra. He had inherited Minato's true legacy. The ancient chakra formula of the elemental sage. A technique merging all 5 natures into one form. A power even the sage of 6 paths never mastered. Naruto opened his eyes. They were no longer blue. They were storm gray, swirling with the 5 elements. Naruto Uzumaki was reborn. The return to Konoha. The village gates opened. Villagers stared. The boy who once caused mischief, now carried himself like a force of nature. His chakra subdued but endless, a power not of chaos but balance. Kakashi watched him walk ahead, knowing things would never be the same. Whispers began. That's the 9 tails brat. No, look at his eyes. Quote, what happened to Uzumaki Naruto? But Naruto didn't hear any of them. He only heard the voice from the temple. You were never alone. Naruto was no longer just the Jinchuriki. He was the last hope of the Uzumaki clan. The heir to the elemental sage. And soon, he would rise to challenge not just his destiny, but the world itself. A storm within the village. Naruto's return to Konoha did not go unnoticed. Every shinobi and council member felt the surge of chakra he carried, a balance of 5 elements, a storm of destiny, all compressed into the body of a boy who was once ignored. That boy was gone. In his place stood something more. The Hokage was the first to request Naruto's presence. Naruto walked into the office, calm, reserved, no trace of his usual childish swagger. His new cloak flickered faintly with elemental threads, fire and wind woven like red and silver, earth steadying his steps, water giving him calm, lightning sharpening his gaze. Hiruzen looked up, pipe forgotten. You've changed, the 3rd Hokage finally said. Naruto gave a slight bow, a respectful, almost regal gesture. I found what I've always been looking for. Hiruzen nodded. You found him. Naruto didn't speak again. He didn't need to. The air between them was filled with more truth than any words could carry. Hiruzen exhaled softly, eyes heavy with regret and wisdom. You have your father's fire, your mother's spirit, and now, your own path. Tell me, Naruto, what will you do with this power? Naruto looked out the window at the village, the place that both abandoned and shaped him. I'm going to change everything, Naruto said. Not just with strength, but with purpose. I'll protect this village, even if they never wanted me. Hiruzen smiled, soft, proud, relieved. Then you're already more of a Hokage than I ever was. Chunin exams, a storm enters the arena. Word spread quickly. The Chunin exams were only weeks away, and Naruto had officially qualified to enter, despite never being assigned a team. Rumors filled the streets, training fields, even other nations. Uzumaki Naruto, he's the one the Leaf's been hiding. He can use 5 chakra natures. That's impossible. Kakashi's team is cursed with monsters, first an Uchiha, now an Uzumaki sage. Other participants from the sand, sound, cloud, and even rain were warned. Avoid the blonde one. Don't provoke the prodigy. Stay away from the elemental seal. But Naruto didn't care about fame. What mattered now was control. Kakashi and Yugao resumed training with him daily, but Naruto was already beyond normal Jonin instruction. They practiced movement that shifted chakra elements mid-strike. Naruto created clones that each held a separate nature, and could merge attacks into perfect elemental combinations. He could create hardened earth armor, then counterstrike with lightning-infused taijutsu. Or fuse fire and wind into an exploding phoenix arc blast. But there was one technique he couldn't do. The elemental formula, the power Minato left behind. A terrifying fusion that merged all 5 chakra types into a single strike of pure creation, or destruction. The problem was simple. Naruto's body wasn't ready. Even with Uzumaki durability, one mistake could kill him. He had 1 month. Whispers from the shadows. Yet even as Naruto climbed to levels no genin ever reached, someone else was watching. Someone who had ties to Minato. Someone who hated Konoha even more than he did. Someone who saw Naruto's existence as both a threat and an opportunity. Orochimaru. Through a disguised sound agent, Orochimaru witnessed Naruto's training from afar. 5 elements. Uzumaki blood. Minato's air, Orochimaru whispered, voice trembling with cold, twisted fascination. A child who surpassed the 4th at age 12. I must taste this potential. I must possess this vessel. Quote, even as Naruto trained to master creation, Orochimaru plotted to twist him toward destruction. First exam, the Forest of Death. The first part of the exams was easy, written test, trick questions, mental pressure. Naruto passed by instinct alone, though secretly, he could have cheated with elemental manipulation. It was the second exam where the nightmare began. The Forest of Death. Genin teams entered together, but Naruto. He was forced into a special entry slot for exceptional candidates. His team was the smallest in the exam, just him and one masked shinobi observer. That meant he was a target. From every side. The moment Naruto entered the forest, he was hunted, teams from Cloud and Rock targeting him for reputa. Tien, others for revenge against the 4th Hokage. Naruto outclassed them all. Fire-enhanced shuriken cut through water shields. Lightning chakra paralyzed opponents mid-leap. Earth spikes rose beneath ambushes, pinning them like insects. Wind propelled Naruto through the trees faster than visual detection. He took scrolls, took down enemies, but spared every life. He was not a killer. But then, he sensed something else. Chakra that didn't belong. Power that felt like a serpent's tongue and death's whisper. Naruto spun. A tall figure leaned against a tree, yellow eyes glowing like poison beneath a human disguise. Well done, Naruto-kun, the voice hissed, feminine yet wrong. You surpassed my expectations. Naruto narrowed his eyes. Who are you? The figure smiled, teeth sharp. Someone who knew your father. Someone who's very curious about what you've become. Naruto gathered chakra, water spiraling, lightning cracking. Stay where you are, or I'll make you. The figure chuckled, a sound like a dying animal. You don't even know what you are. Naruto didn't wait. He attacked, wind and lightning fused. The punch cracked the forest floor. But the figure had already vanished, like smoke. As it disappeared, one chilling whisper filled the air. Greater than, just like Minato, powerful, unprepared. I wonder if your body is strong enough to survive the truth. Quote, Naruto froze. The forest felt darker. This exam was no longer about becoming a Chunin. It was about surviving a monster with eyes on his soul. The elemental shift begins. As Naruto raced toward the tower with his scroll, he didn't feel fear. He felt something else. Resolve. If there were enemies who knew his father. If there were people who wanted to use him, break him, take over his body. Then Naruto would grow stronger than every net in their trap. Stronger than the hate. Stronger than destiny, stronger than even Minato. He would become not just the elemental sage, but the storm that rewrites fate. The storm of chakra around Naruto grew stronger, swirling with untamed elemental energy. Kakashi, who'd been silently watching from the shadows of Training Ground 7, couldn't believe what he was witnessing. The boy wasn't just experimenting with different elements, he was mastering them. Wind, sharp and slicing. Fire, furious, hungry flames. Water, flowing, bending like instinct. Earth, steady, unmovable strength. Lightning, crackling like pure rage and resolve. All of them working in harmony. Naruto's expression was fierce, but focused. Sweat dripped down his face, yet he held steady, channeling 5 elements at an age most shinobi struggle to master just one. Greater than, no kid should be able to do this, Kakashi whispered under his breath, his Sharingan eye narrowing. Naruto didn't notice. His eyes were closed, fully immersed in the vortex of elemental chakra that surrounded him. But in the distance, another pair of eyes watched. Danzo, hidden behind a group of masked Anbu, he studied the boy like a weapon. His calculating mind ran through the possibilities. 5 chakra natures, an unbreakable will, an Uzumaki body powerful enough to sustain this level of output. Greater than, he could be a god. Or a disaster. Danzo smirked. Greater than, either way, he will belong to Konoha's shadows. Naruto's first real test. The test came sooner than expected. A rogue group of infiltrators, ex-am shinobi hired by someone with interest in the Nine Tails, snuck into the village under cover of night. They weren't targeting the Hokage. They weren't after secrets. They were after Naruto. Iruka-sensei was the first to react. He burst into Naruto's tiny apartment, finding the boy already dressed, barefoot, eyes sharp. Greater than, you felt him too. Naruto nodded. His senses were sharper than ever since he'd connected deeply with the 5 elements. Chakra signatures were like heartbeats to him now, impossible to ignore. Iruka gripped his kunai. I'm coming with you. No, Naruto answered, his voice calm but heavy. You taught me to never abandon my home, now it's my turn to protect it. The window shattered, masked intruders flooding in. Naruto didn't hesitate. He leapt into the air and slammed both hands down, shouting. Greater than, 5-style dome release, elemental annihilation. The air exploded with a roaring blast of all 5 elements merging into a spiraling shield, shredding incoming kunai, incinerating paper bombs, and crushing the nearest attacker like a collapsing cliff. Iruka's jaw dropped. Naruto landed, panting. Tell the Hokage I've got this. After the battle, 3 hours later, the sun was rising. The ground outside Naruto's home was scorched, frozen, cracked, and splintered with blackened marks of elemental damage. Iruka and the 3rd Hokage stood over the bodies of the intruders. Hiruzen ran a hand over his chin thoughtfully, staring at Naruto, who stood alone, covered in dust and ash, but very much alive. He didn't just survive, Iruka whispered. He won. Hiruzen nodded grimly. He's becoming something, perhaps too quickly. From the branches above, Kakashi quietly vanished. His report to the Anbu commander was already forming in his mind. From another rooftop, Danzo frowned. The power was undeniable, but uncontrolled. Naruto, however, wasn't thinking about power. He was thinking about what he felt during that fight. Loneliness, anger, but also, clarity. Greater than, if I can master all this, he thought, looking up at the sky. Then maybe one day, I'll be more than a monster in their eyes. Naruto stood in the middle of the ruined street, his heart racing. The bodies of the attackers were still steaming from where water and lightning chakra had collided, creating bursts of raw energy. The sight of destruction, however, didn't excite him. It scared him. He clenched his fist. Greater than, I didn't want to kill them. The elements responded to Naruto's mood. Wind swirled softly, water gathered in a thin mist around his feet, embers flickered in the air, and faint sparks of lightning apt from his fingertips. The more he grew, the more the elements reacted instinctively. Naruto's affinity wasn't just learned, it was alive inside him. And that was the real danger. The Hokage's dilemma. Hiruzen sat in the council chamber, the heavy silence almost suffocating. Homura and Koharu exchanged glances, while Danzo watched with an unnerving calm. The subject was clear. Greater than, Naruto Uzumaki, Homura said, is progressing at a rate that is unnatural. Quote, he has control over all 5 chakra natures, Koharu added. At age 8. That's unprecedented. Danzo leaned forward. Greater than, it is not control we should be speaking of. It is weaponization. The boy is not a weapon, Hiruzen cut in sharply. Danzo's single visible eye narrowed. Greater than, then who will be responsible when the Nine Tails merges with those elements and turns Konoha into a wasteland? Hiruzen didn't answer immediately. The weight of the future settled on his shoulders. Greater than, am I still protecting the child, or just delaying the inevitable. Naruto's secret training. While the council debated, Naruto trained harder than ever. Jiraiya had returned secretly to oversee the boy, but not to smile or flirt or act goofy. This was serious, life-changing. Greater than, kid, you've got the kind of potential to either save the world, or scorch it to the ground. Quote, Naruto wiped blood from his nose as he stood up again. He was trying to combine wind and fire chakra, but it kept erupting too violently. Every time he failed, he shook the earth. Every time he succeeded, the trees nearby vanished in explosions of flame. Greater than, I don't want to hurt people, Naruto muttered, clenching his teeth. I just want 'em to see me as more than a demon. Jiraiya finished softly. Naruto didn't answer. Deep within the mindscape. That night, Naruto drifted into uneasy sleep, and found himself in the dark sewer-like mindscape. For the first time in weeks, he faced Kurama directly. The Nine Tails stared down with narrowed eyes, observing Naruto from behind the bars. But Naruto didn't approach with fear. He walked with purpose. Greater than, I'm not here to force you into anything, Naruto said. I know you hate humans. I don't blame you. Kurama's ears twitched. Greater than, I want you to teach me something, not as a weapon, but as someone trying to change how the world sees you. Both. Kurama laughed, a deep, rumbling sound. Greater than, you wield life, death, and the elements without fully understanding yourself. You'll need more than chakra to change your fate. Naruto stood still. Greater than, then help me. Not as a prisoner, but as a partner. Kurama's eyes widened. For the first time, the silence wasn't hostile. The change begins. In the days that followed, something changed in Naruto's chakra. It wasn't just raw power anymore. It flowed. It responded to Kurama's ancient wisdom, aligning itself with Naruto's emotions in a new, terrifyingly natural way. Flames no longer erupted in rage, they roared with purpose. Water no longer splashed randomly, it flowed with clarity. Naruto was learning balance, but balance was not peace. A growing threat. Word spread, Naruto Uzumaki, the boy with all 5 chakra natures, had awakened a power beyond the elemental nation's wildest imaginations. Other villagers began to fear him. Small skirmishes in the land of fire multiplied. Rogue shinobi and rebels targeted Konoha envoys, screaming, "Give us the boy." The Third Shinobi War was long over, but a new kind of war was beginning. Inside Konoha, Naruto felt the eyes of the villagers change. Fear, disgust, confusion. Greater than, I always thought once I got stronger, they'd like me. Iruka knelt beside him and placed a hand on his shoulder. Greater than, being powerful won't make them accept you, Naruto. But being you might. The boy closed his eyes. Greater than, then I'll keep trying. No matter what. Above them, dark clouds began to gather. The wind picked up sharply. Thunder rumbled in the distance. It wasn't nature. It was Naruto. Naruto stirred awake before dawn, the air tingling as chakra hummed around him. Sleep hadn't come easily, not when the elements whispered in his dreams as vividly as reality. Even now, fire flickered in his veins, water pulsed at his heart, wind circled beneath his skin, lightning buzzed in his fingertips, and earth, solid, grounding, anchored his soul. He dressed silently, taping seals to his wrists that Jiraiya had crafted to limit chakra overflow during sleep. The last thing he wanted was to burn the Hokage's tower down by accident. Outside his window, the village was waking up. The misty hues of dawn settled softly over Konoha, but the peaceful image was a lie. Tension simmered beneath the surface. Naruto wasn't just a Jinchuriki anymore. He was a nuclear storm in human form. A village on edge. Villagers murmured more loudly now when he passed. Some hurried away, some stared with apprehension. A few, mostly children, looked at him with admiration. But the adults knew the truth. Naruto wasn't just the son of the 4th Hokage. He was the boy who could control all 5 elemental natures. No one in history had shown the aptitude this young, not even the legendary Uchiha or Senju prodigies. The memory of his accident, when Naruto had burst with simultaneous fire and lightning chakra and leveled an old training ground, had spread like wildfire across Konoha. Naruto had shown up the next day, tears fresh on his cheeks, apologizing with flowers and seals for help with repairs. But fear had already set in. His very existence had become political. The summons. That morning, Iruka and Naruto walked to the academy, but they were stopped just outside the gate. Uzumaki Naruto, a masked Anbu operative said, "The Hokage has requested your presence immediately." Iruka bristled. The other kids nearby paused mid-play, watching quietly as Naruto was escorted away. Naruto glanced back and forced a smile at Iruka. "It's fine. I'll be back soon." But Iruka's eyes were shadowed with concern. The Hokage's prediction. Inside the Hokage's office, Hiruzen Sarutobi wasn't smoking his pipe. Naruto had never seen him without it. This time, he wasn't meeting the kind old man who gave him pocket change and ramen coupons. He was meeting the Shinobi no Kami, the god of shinobi. "Come in, Naruto," the third Hokage said, his voice heavy. Naruto approached and stood straight. "You've grown strong," Hiruzen began. "Stronger than any boy your age has a right to be. And stronger than most of our shinobi." Naruto said nothing. "Jiraiya believes you are approaching a point where your 5 elemental affinities, and the 9 tails chakra, could make you nearly unstoppable. And that has consequences far beyond you or me." The Hokage turned, and the mountains painted behind him seemed almost alive in the morning light. "The other nations already know, Naruto. Word has spread. They know that a potential god-tier shinobi is growing in Konoha." Naruto swallowed. "And they won't let that happen," Hiruzen continued. "They will form alliances. They will attempt kidnappings. They will try to kill you. Maybe even start another shinobi war, all out of fear." Naruto felt his chest tighten. "Why are you telling me this, now?" "Because I believe you can choose what kind of future this world will remember. And time is short." The Hokage leaned forward. "I'm not asking you to kill for us. I'm asking you to survive, and decide whether you want peace through fear, or friendship through strength." Naruto's eyes widened. "You have a destiny few shinobi ever dream of," Hiruzen finished. "A terrifying one. A hopeful one. Be careful, Naruto. Your path might save us, or destroy us." Awakening the elements. That night, Naruto trained again with Jiraiya at an isolated clearing. He stood inside a seal that restricted chakra spillover to avoid shaking the earth, or igniting forests. Jiraiya sealed his own chakra to force Naruto to rely on instinct instead of guidance. Sensory challenge. Element blend. Go. Naruto breathed in. Wind churned. Lightning chirped. Water pulled around his feet, circling with a calm precision. Earth particles rose, forming a barrier of dust and stone. Fire flickered like controlled passion. Naruto's chakra was terrifying, but also beautiful. Swoosh. The elements converged into a storm around him, but this time, they didn't clash. They harmonized. Naruto felt calm for the first time in days. He formed a handful of seals, and a swirling blade materialized in his hand. Greater than the elemental Rasengan. 5 colors rotated within it, lightning crackled, water spiraled around flame, and wind sharpened the edge of the sphere's rotation. Naruto stared at it in awe, and the seal around him cracked. Oh crap! Before he could even react, the elemental Rasengan burst from his grip and tore through the clearing like a comet, cutting trees clean in half, setting the ends aflame, then sealing them in crystallized earth. Jiraiya's face was pale. "That was not normal," he said. "That was, Naruto, that was cage level. And not good," Naruto said sheepishly. Jiraiya walked up and placed a hand on his head. "No, kid, that was terrifying. And amazing. A new visitor." The next day, Naruto found a stranger waiting for him at the training ground, a tall woman with obsidian hair, wrapped in silent grace, wearing a kind of black cloak that didn't belong to any known village. Her eyes were silver, not Byakugan, but something older. "Uzumaki Naruto," she said in a soft, chilling voice. "I have come to warn you." Naruto froze. "Warn me? About what?" "About people like me," she whispered, stepping closer. "People who want your heart, your power, and the world that will rise or fall because of you." She raised her hand, revealing an ancient seal burned into her skin. "I am from the Hidden Harmony village. We have watched your growth. We know your purpose, and soon, every nation will try to bend you toward the design. She stopped a foot away from Naruto. What you do next will not just decide who becomes Hokage. It will decide the future of Chakra itself. Naruto's heart pounded. What do you want from me? Nothing, she said. That's the point. She stepped back and vanished in the blink of an eye. Only her final words lingered, echoing through the clearing like a ghost. Greater than, power is the easiest thing to gain, and the hardest thing to control. Your world is not ready for a boy who can bend all 5 elements. The world was shifting, and Naruto Uzumaki was standing at the center of it. He didn't ask for power. He didn't ask for destiny. But destiny had chosen him long ago, and now, he was becoming the kind of shinobi legends feared. The boy beyond the elements. The wind stirred as Naruto stood alone in his private training field. 5 shadows of colored chakra loomed behind him, flickering like 5 elemental guardians. Fire crackled with warm ferocity. Water rippled and curled around his ankles. Lightning struck the ground with silent intensity. Earth held him steady. Wind swirled with laser precision. This was just him breathing. Naruto inhaled deeply. The world felt smaller. A dangerous calm. As he unleashed each element in turn, Naruto felt the weight of his own body straining under the magnitude of his chakra network. The 5 elements weren't just tools. They were personalities, each tied to emotion. Each competing for his heart. Fire, rage and passion. Water, empathy and clarity. Wind, adaptability and levity. Lightning, ambition and speed. Earth, stability and endurance. Control was everything. Elemental balance, Naruto muttered. He performed hand signs and the elements burst outward at once, but this time, they spun in perfect sequence, forming a rotating multi-hued sphere in front of him. Elemental Raisin Shuriken. Even thinking about throwing it would have leveled half a forest. He dispelled it with a deep breath, and sweat beaded down his brow. Greater than, I'm starting to see more than one future whenever I use this power. But before he could reflect, he sensed someone watching him. He turned. The war hawk approaches. A single figure approached through the trees. Danzo Shimura. Naruto stiffened. He didn't trust the old war strategist, no one did. Lord Danzo, Naruto said through clenched teeth. You have grown, Danzo noted, eye scanning Naruto's posture, movement, even breathing. Your power is already beyond what the Hokage anticipated. Naruto didn't answer. You don't need to be afraid, Danzo continued. You need to be prepared. For what? A world that will not accept you. There was no warmth, only cold truth. You are not a normal child. You are not a normal shinobi. Quote, you are a weapon forged by nature itself. Naruto gritted his teeth. I'm not a weapon. Danzo smiled softly, as though humoring a child. Weapons don't get to decide what they are, he said, tapping his cane. The world decides. And right now, they've decided you're a threat. Danzo stepped closer. But under my guidance, you could become something more powerful than even the Hokage. Naruto's eyes narrowed. I've already chosen my path. Danzo nodded, his expression unreadable. Then I suggest you prepare for the consequences of defying the world. With that, the old shinobi turned and vanished. Naruto felt his heart pounding. A strategy is born. The next day, Naruto met with Jiraiya and Kakashi in private beneath the Hokage monument. They weren't just discussing training. They were discussing war. Kiri and Kumo have been spotted near our borders, Kakashi said. They're not alone. There are rogue factions forming around your name. Jiraiya nodded. The 5 great nations are beginning to move again. Your ability has caught the eye of every cage. They see you as the next sage of 6 paths, or the next catastrophe. Quote, Naruto's fists clenched. So what do I do, sit here and wait? No, Jiraiya said, you train harder, you master everything, then you stand at their table and demand a seat. And if they refuse? Naruto looked up, eyes sharper, fearless. I'll make my own table. Jiraiya laughed softly. Greater than, there's the Naruto I know. The boy with no limits. Inside the mindscape. That night, Naruto returned to the mindscape, determined to confront Kurama again. The Nine Tails sat in silence, watching him approach. "You're ready," Kurama rumbled, golden eyes glowing like fire through smoke. "Ready for what?" Naruto asked. "The burden," Kurama said, "of being more than what the world allows. The world bows to balance, but you are the imbalance." Naruto stood still as Kurama's massive claws reached for the bars of the seal. "For centuries," Kurama continued, "I have hated humans. Feared them. And in turn, they weaponized me." He looked directly at Naruto. "You're the first human who's ever asked to work with me." Naruto swallowed. "So what now?" "Now," Kurama said, "we finished becoming what destiny forced you to be. You will control every element. Every ounce of my chakra. Every emotion. And then, you'll decide whether the world deserves us." The bars of the seal rattled. Naruto didn't step back. Konoha prepares. While Naruto grew stronger than ever, the village was fortifying for war. Anbu numbers doubled. Border teams rotated without rest. Even the Uchiha clan leaders requested private briefings on Naruto's potential. The world was watching. Konoha wasn't just a village anymore. It was the home of the most powerful child in history. And no one knew if he was a blessing or a ticking bomb. The first blood. One evening, while Iruka and Naruto returned from Ichiraku Ramen, Naruto felt it. Killer intent. Men in unfamiliar shinobi gear emerged from the shadows, silent, masked, surgical in movement. 5 of them, all missing ninja. Rogue mercenaries. Hand off target. Maintain distance. Remember, he's a Jinchuriki. Iruka barely had time to grab Naruto before Shuriken whistled past them. "Iruka-sensei," Naruto shouted. Iruka stood in front of him, kunai drawn, but Naruto could feel the fear pouring off him. These weren't academy bullies. These were killers. Naruto's hand rose instinctively. Fire chakra boiled through his lungs. Lightning raced up his arm. Wind sharpened. Water condensed around his fingers. Earth solidified beneath his feet. "I'm done running." The mercenaries hesitated for just a second. That was more than enough. Greater than, elemental shattering spiral. A vortex of fire, wind, and lightning burst from Naruto's palm, splitting into beams of pure destructive chakra. Each blast struck with controlled precision, knocking the enemies back without killing them, but destroying their weapons, targets, and hope. Iruka stood behind Naruto, stunned. When the attackers retreated, breathing heavily, Naruto didn't even turn to watch them escape. He was staring at his own hands, trembling. "I'm losing myself." Iruka stepped forward and hugged him from behind. "You didn't lose anything," he whispered. "You saved us." Naruto didn't answer. He couldn't. A meeting of shadows. In a distant cave, masked figures gathered around a glowing projection of Naruto. "His power is escalating beyond even the records of the sage. We can't wait," a voice muttered. "If Konoha controls him, they'll rule the world. Then we move first," another voice said darkly. "We take the boy, or we kill him." Silence. A final voice cut through the room like a blade. "No, we use him." The flame flickered, and the meeting dissolved into darkness. The morning sun broke over the village of Konoha like a silent promise, its orange rays gently illuminating the worn stones of the Hokage monument. There, on the highest ridge, stood a figure that had begun to grow familiar to the early rises, Naruto Uzumaki, no longer just the lonely prankster boy who sought attention from the village, but someone changing, someone evolving. His posture was firm, his breathing, slow, his chakra, silent yet intensely alive. Today was different, because by this point, Naruto had already mastered all 5 basic chakra natures, and at only 9 years old. Not just mastered in the sense of knowing how to use them, no, Naruto had pushed himself to understand their mechanics, combinations, and counterbalances in a way even elite shinobi struggled with. His hands moved effortlessly through signs, channeling the natures one after the other, creating burrs. Ts of flame, walls of earth, spirals of wind. He blended them like an artist crafting color on a canvas. His control wasn't perfect, but it was beyond incredible for someone his age. And yet, Naruto wasn't satisfied. Not until he understood everything. Not until no one in the village could ignore him ever again. He closed his eyes, feeling the flow of the elements inside him. Fire, passion, wind, freedom, lightning, precision, water, adaptability, earth, strength. Each nature was part of him now, but what Naruto hadn't realized was that mastering these 5 natures didn't just make him strong. It made him dangerous. The first whisper in the shadows. Unbeknownst to Naruto, he was being watched. Deep within the covered corridors of the Anbu Black Ops headquarters, masked figures studied a screen of surveillance data, and all of it revolved around one boy, Naruto Uzumaki. Greater than, he's grown, exponentially, said one voice, cold and analytical. This level of progress, 5 years ahead of standard prodigies, at least. Should we report to the Hokage? The Hokage already knows. The question is, whether anyone else might find out. The masked leader leaned forward, fingers tapping the table. Greater than, if other nations catch wind of this child's potential, he will be targeted. The room fell silent. Naruto wasn't just a prodigy anymore, he was a potential national asset, or threat. Back to Naruto, the realization. Naruto's training session slowed as his chakra network began to strain. He exhaled heavily, sweat rolling down his face, but there was a grin, the type of grin Sasuke would come to loathe. He had begun working on advanced elemental jutsu. Things no genin should even attempt. But Naruto wasn't any genin. Not anymore. As he sat beneath the shade of the Hokage monument, he opened a scroll, a forbidden text he had snuck from the Hokage's library weeks ago. Nature Transmutation Theory, Elemental Fusion. Quote, the concept fascinated him, not just using separate elements, but fusing them to create new, hybrid chakra natures. He stared. Lava release, ice release, wood release, dust release. His heart thumped. If he could do this, if he could combine his 5 natures, he could create something that no one, not even the legendary Sannin, had ever wielded. Something unique, powerful, unstoppable. But there was a price. Transmutation required insane focus, overwhelming chakra strength, and total synergy between conflicting elements. One misstep, he could burn himself alive. Freeze, implode, disintegrate. Naruto clenched his fists. That's never stopped me before. He closed his eyes, and began. First, he summoned earth and fire, the base for lava release. The chakra pulsed through him. It was wild, unstable. His lungs tightened, sweat poured. The pain was excruciating, as if his blood had caught fire and his bones were turning to stone. He almost collapsed, but just before the chakra overwhelmed him, a hand grabbed his wrist. A sudden interference. Naruto gasped, chakra dispersing violently as he turned to see a figure behind him. A tall, cloaked shinobi in a fox-like Anbu mask. Greater than, you need to stop. Naruto stumbled back, shocked. Greater than, what do you want? Who are you? The masked figure didn't answer directly. Instead, he walked forward, kneeling at Naruto's feet where the scorched earth still hissed smoke. Greater than, you're pushing yourself past your limits. Even someone with your potential will break. Naruto's eyes narrowed. Greater than, why do you care? Who sent you? The Anbu stood up slowly. Greater than, the Hokage did. And I'm here because he believes we cannot afford to lose you. Quote, Naruto froze. Greater than, Hokage Gigi sent you. The mask nodded. Greater than, you've already attracted too much attention. You've awakened gifts most shinobi spend lifetimes trying to master. But power without control. Naruto bristled. Greater than, I have control. Greater than, no, you have potential. And right now, potential is just as dangerous as it is precious. Naruto stared in silence. Greater than, if you continue like this, you may become something the village can't protect. Quote, the Anbu turned away slightly. Greater than, or something, they fear. The choice. Naruto, breathing hard, looked at his trembling hands. The burns. The chakra burn marks. The pain. He wasn't invincible. The Anbu angled his mask back toward Naruto. Greater than, come with me. Let us teach you. Let us refine what you've started. Naruto hesitated, but only for a moment. Greater than, are you saying, I could get stronger? Quote, the Anbu nodded. Greater than, strong enough to use your 5 natures. Strong enough to create more. Strong enough to protect yourself. Naruto's fists clenched. His jaw tightened. He nodded. Greater than, fine. I'll go. Quote. The Anbu tilted his head slightly, possibly smiling beneath the mask. Greater than, good. Your training begins now. And this time, you won't be alone. Naruto stood at the edge of a new road, no longer just the mischievous orphan boy chasing attention, but someone recognized by Konoha's most elite 4. Someone who had awakened 5 elemental chakra natures before even becoming a genin. The world was changing, and so was Naruto. Under the guidance of the ANBU, he was now set to undergo training that no other child in the village had ever experienced. Forbidden techniques, advanced chakra manipulation, tactical combat that went beyond academy level. But deep inside, one thing remained the same. Greater than, I'll become Hokage someday, and make everyone acknowledge me. Quote. His dream hadn't changed, only the path toward it had. And now, that path was being forged in secret. With every element at his command. With every shadow watching. With every threat closing in from beyond Konoha's borders. This was just the beginning. Thank you.